Hello, and welcome to the Interjections podcast. This is the Undiscovered Decade. We are now in our third season. I did not expect us to get this far, honestly, but I am very happy that we made it. And we are actually lined up so well that today is the 30th anniversary of the movie we are talking about, at least when we're recording. This is going to release a week later, so technically you're listening to this after that. But
Yeah.
today 30 years ago, the film Juice came out in 1992. So we're going to be talking about Tupac Shakur's debut. Omar Epps actually debuted in this film as well. This is also the directorial debut of Ernest Dickerson, who was the cinematographer for Spike Lee for his first 4 or 5 films, I believe. So welcome to the third season. How did you guys find Juice? I know we haven't really talked about it yet. So
on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I was kind of surprised. I think this movie was advertised as one thing, and then when I watched it, it ended up being another. And actually, within the movie, I think it's split into 2 halves.
Mm-hmm.
It's got kind of an identity crisis, the movie.
I can see that.
A little bit.
I think the first half is supposed to be kind of not exactly whimsical, but at least be a coming of age story, kind of like Boys in the Hood, kind of like the stuff that Spike Lee was putting out and John Singleton was putting out.
Mm-hmm.
But then the second half kind of becomes like a hard-boiled crime drama.
Especially a thriller. It's kind of like a cat and mouse.
Right. And honestly, I think the first half is kind of poorly acted for the most part. I think Tupac gets better as he becomes more unhinged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little unhinging how unhinged he gets, because like it's honestly, like when I was watching it and like you see Tupac get like crazy, I don't know, that like he played it pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Like you could see it in his eyes, just like he's like he like he's acting, but like like seeing him act that way, that he's probably seen people that were crazy like that, and he probably knows where to pull from.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's just fun to act crazy because then you just kind of get lost. They'll just like do whatever. Like he got the part because he threw a chair in his audition.
Mm-hmm.
So
he was there with somebody else who was auditioning, and they gave him like 15 minutes to read.
No, I mean they were all really good. And it was interesting because like you're talking about how it's split into 2 different halves. I'm thinking it's split into 2 different sides of the same coin, because because you're following all 4 of them, but Omar Epps is trying to go the straight way and like do his DJ thing, and that's how he's gonna get the juice, the power and respect. And Bishop, who's Tupac's character, is going in the extreme other direction. So you're seeing both ways interacting with each other.
It's almost funny. He's not even going in any direction. He even says that I think the best scene is when he confronts him in the hallway right after Raheem has been killed.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert. And he pretty much tells him like, I'm not going anywhere. So therefore, when I decide that you're not going anywhere, then I'm going to dispatch you. So he's kind of just at a stalemate. He's not going anywhere.
It's interesting with the Tupac's character Bishop. You actually see the seeds planted for the path that he's going on from the beginning. Because like when we're introduced to all the characters in the movie, like with Tupac's Bishop, one of the first things you see is like when his father is just sitting there in the living room, quiet.
Right. Which they never really went back to that either.
Yeah, but like I thought they would. Like his father is detached from not only like just everything, reality. Like he's there, but he's not there. And then like you see like that. And then later on in the movie, they're all hanging out and watching a 1940s black and white like
White Heat.
Heat, yeah. Wait, what was the name of the movie?
White Heat with
White Heat.
Cagney.
Yeah, so they're watching that movie, and like the character in that movie goes like like he goes all out, and at the end
I'm on top of the world.
He's on top of the world, but he goes out in a big ball of flame, and like you see Bishop's character start to like really relate to that moment, especially when he like outwardly like relates to that moment and like says like, guys, we need to be like that. And like right before we see that scene, they stop off at a bar to get a pack of cigarettes as it's getting robbed, and Tupac wants to like get in on that, like, hey, look, we know how much money's in there, like we should help this person that we know, like and the person that's doing the robbing, like they know the guy, they're not really friends with him, so like he's already like right there on the spot, he's like ready.
Yeah, I think he hasn't exactly made up his mind yet, but maybe we're watching White Heat, and then the subsequent fight, he has the argument with Quincy Q, who is Omar Epps. He figures out, like, as young black men, you have a lifespan that isn't gonna be very long, so why not go out in a blaze of glory?
Yeah, because like if you, and also another introduction is like the atmosphere, the culture, like you see the adults always talking about like, you need to do this, you got to do this, like this is good money, this is a good job, and like you listen to the list of jobs that like they're talking about, and like not all of them are appealing. Yeah, sure, it's good money, but like, is this something you want to be doing for the rest of your life? Is this the path that like you want to follow? Is this your destiny? Just like humdrum, bust your ass,
look at
all for nothing.
Q's idea of getting out of this life is by becoming a DJ, which is like a 1 in a million chance. He has to go through a contest to get a good life. That's kind of sad, you know. That often is what happens with black people. They ride on sports scholarships to even get into colleges.
You know, I thought was interesting about the movie. The strongest characters in the movie are females. Yolanda, and when they first show Queen Latifah's character, like they have a no nonsense attitude,
confidence.
Yeah, like Yolanda kicks out her husband, and then later Queen Latifah just completely demoralizes this one guy outside of the studio that they're auditioning.
Oh, you know what's interesting with Yolanda? I don't know if you guys like actually like caught on to this, or if this was like particularly deliberate. I mean, it works out that like you find out later on in the film that she's a nurse and she works at the hospital. So like when one of their friends, Steele, gets shot and he ends up there, that's how she finds out the situation's gotten bad for her boyfriend, Q. But like historically, way back when, before the civil rights era, like a lot of like black women, like one of the professions that they could get into was becoming nurses or secretarial positions, because like white men in power didn't feel threatened by black women. So like, of course, black women were able to get jobs that black men couldn't, because they weren't a threat. So like seeing her character basically have a job where she had a historical position of power that was like just always been there for them. But like, I don't know if any of you even knew that. And if it rang any bells, because like that's one of the first things like when it was real, she's a nurse, I was like, oh, okay. Was that a deliberate?
It's probably just so she can see Steele, honestly.
I was gonna say that was probably contrived for that.
Sure.
It makes sense.
You know, going off of that, I thought it was a nice touch that you don't really find out that she's a nurse until after she says to Q, like he's leaving to go take care of something, and she's like, I'm gonna be working at the hospital tomorrow later if you need anything.
Yeah.
Like just a clear hint, like, you know, if shit goes down, bring like bring him to me.
Yeah.
Which I think says a lot more than, you know, any of their actual relationship within the apartment.
I had no idea. I didn't think about she might work. I thought she might work in a hospital, kind of like as a psych therapist or something, but this makes a lot more sense. So this is probably.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little too much of a modern, like 2020 like viewpoint. Like that's where like if this movie was made today, she probably would be in that position.
Yeah. Well, that's why I probably thought it, but I'm sure this has happened to her before, and that's why the husband's thinking that. He's like, this is going to go bad again. I bet, I don't know.
He hasn't put up much of a struggle when she kicks him out.
No, that was funny. Yeah, I like Yolanda a lot. I wanted more of her. She's also never done anything else. I saw that she's part of En Vogue. She was one of the original singers. And so I thought maybe she wasn't the best actress, but she was pretty good.
I think she's one of the better ones, actually.
Had a pretty good career as an actress. And only Omar and Tupac really went on to do anything else. Steele didn't really pop up anywhere else. And
well, there is a cameo. There is a cameo by a Scrubs alum.
Mm-hmm.
Very brief.
Yeah, the most famous person in this is Donald Faison.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him. I saw him in the cast list before we watched, so I forgot to look for him.
Yeah, no, like it's funny because like when you see him, you see a 3/4 back view of his head, and like very briefly see like get a good like side profile, and then next thing you know, he's just out of the scene.
He's gone.
Like,
I wasn't even looking at him. I was looking.
Yeah, no, like probably when you at that moment, like when you were looking, like I saw that sliver. I'm like, I know that guy. But like it's also funny that like honestly, I don't remember like whenever like there was flashbacks in the show Scrubs, like because like you'll see him when he's a youthful teenager in those flashbacks, and like he'll have the like crazy wild hair. So like here in Juice, it's 90, 92, 93,
91.
91.
Technically when it's filmed.
Oh, wonderful. So like he's got like the crazy wild hair, and I'm just like, that's close enough. Yeah.
Are you suggesting that Scrubs takes place in the same universe as Juice?
I mean, maybe
And
it's
that guy
either
just screw up?
or like,
Because I'm okay with that. Like that's my
Sure.
that's a great.
I don't know if they
Thing.
ever say where Turk is from in the show.
Yeah,
and
no,
where
I know.
Scrubs
Yeah.
takes place.
Yolanda
It would be
worked
funny
right
because
under
it's such a
the
small
John Stevens
cameo.
image.
Because it's such a small piece, you could write it in and be like, "Oh yeah, totally. This was within this was his youth."
You didn't see Zach Braff in the hospital scene?
Right,
He
exactly.
was patching up Steele at one point.
Right.
As
But
an intern.
it was interesting for the 3 seconds he's on screen with Omar Epps, and you're like, "Oh hey, it's 2 fantastic doctor characters
Right.
20 years from now."
Yeah.
Because Omar Epps did House.
Mhm.
oh yeah, that's right.
What do you guys think of Dickerson's direction and cinematography?
Well, all right.
I got thoughts on this.
Because he came from like he was a cinematographer going into this. Like this was it's the same thing with well, I don't know. I appreciated it because it definitely felt like a Spike Lee joint because he was Spike Lee's cinematographer.
Right.
So it had that flair to it as well. But did he write it as well, or was
He
it?
did.
He co-wrote it.
Okay, yeah. See,
He came up with the
Got
story.
Gerard Brown.
and you know, this is I will champion forever to let the DPs make the movies eventually because they have, you know, their eye and they've been sitting next to the director and they've got their own vision as well. Because like the same thing happened with when Wally Pfister, who was
You can say that.
I knew you were going to bring that up. And
Of course
that's
I was
a
gonna bring it
horrible
up.
Example.
it's the only other solid example I have
He's
Yeah.
in my
terrible.
memory right now.
There's only one movie he's done.
I
That
know.
movie's awful.
Listen, we'll get to that 12 years from now. But
12.
I like Transcendence, but that's a podcast for a different day. But anyway, I did enjoy this movie because I can, you know, tonally, I get what you were saying, Corey, where it starts off kind of, you know, it feels like 2 different genres,
It's very slice of life.
but at the same time, it like that's kind of the reality of it. If you're living in those circumstances, you have like there's levity surrounding the tragedy of what's actually going on.
Mm-hmm. It's
I
not
get
gonna
that.
be
It just,
outright
for
satire,
me,
but
it didn't segue organically.
But because
I
of
mean,
all of-
that's probably a good way of showing how quickly things could just go sideways.
Right.
Like everything could be like everything's gonna be all right, and then all of a sudden, like that, you're fucked. Like everything is just flipped upside down, and your world is just
gone.
destroyed. It's gone. Like you just because like with how quickly things went from like young men just trying to get by in like this like urban hellscape, but like they're still young and they're like getting by, and then next thing you know, like just like that, like there's no going back. There's no normalcy anymore, especially when like Bishop kills a store shop owner and then kills one of his best friends. Like it escalated and then escalated again, and then like you're one, an accomplice to murder, two, you're one of your best friends is a murderer, and three, one of your best friends is dead, and four, the best friend that is a murderer now is gunning for you. Like it went from like bad to worse to like hopeless.
Yeah, I think I liked that because you're expecting something bad to happen because it's a bad idea to begin with, and you just want Q to win this contest. And obviously they have to set it up at the same time as his contest to rob this store. It's like, this is the only time we can do it. Can't be able to do this another time. So you know something's going to go wrong. You thought maybe it would just go bad. Maybe one of them gets caught or something. Maybe Q gets caught and it's like, or someone gets caught and he has to vouch for them and that ruins his chances at the contest. But no, it escalates. And then not only you're trying to think, how are they going to get out of this when one of them gets murdered anyway? I think that was a good way to escalate it. Like, things will not ever go right in this situation. Dickerson lets you know this was never going to get better. In fact, there's a trivia I didn't know about this. The ending, it was originally supposed to be Bishop lets go because he knows it's hopeless, but they added in kind of a half-hearted scream for him to be upset that he's falling. And Tupac and Dickerson agreed they shouldn't do this. And Tupac said, let me give like not enough of a yelp. Like, I'm not really into this. And Dickerson's like, yeah, exactly. I'll cut it out later and hope they don't notice, because he was at the whims of the studios.
His like the little, like, I didn't even notice that like little yelp. Like I just like, it's like, that's it. Like, because immediately when that happened at the end, when he falls to his doom, that was like perfectly set up to mirror his like at the moment hero when they watched it, White Heat. Because at the end of the film, that character was on top of the world and the world wasn't like, there was fire around him and that was it, he's gone. But like with Bishop, his character, he's basically on the edge of a cliff and about to fall into an abyss and be gone forever. And like in this setting, like this is reality, and like really you just disappear into nothing and you won't be remembered. Whereas in White Heat, the movie that he was watching, like he's watching a movie, this guy meets his end as glorified because it's a movie. So like in his mind, like going all out and going out on your terms is a glorification. But then like,
hey, you made it sound better.
I immediately thought of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Oh god, that no. I'm like,
and I kind of laughed.
It was a bit of a Disney villain ending.
Yeah, but like I feel like it's a good one.
Into the shadows.
Like, it's a good contrast to what he had watched earlier in the film. Especially because he did romanticize
right,
basically a glorious death, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, in terms of like directorial craft and cinematography and everything, he does do a few things that I've always hated in Spike Lee movies, that that are certain camera angles and camera techniques that I never like. I don't mind Dutch angles.
Super wide.
No, I don't mind that. I hate when anytime somebody's mounted on a dolly just to show that they're getting dizzy or something.
Oh, that one?
I hate that shot.
Really?
I can't stand that shot.
I thought you were going to talk about the fact that like they have to use wide angles on everything because they're shooting in such small spaces, like in the arcade, how everything is just
the apartment.
Oh yeah, I don't really mind that so much.
Okay.
But there was another part where Tupac was talking to somebody at a door, and spatially, geographically, it didn't make any sense where his eye line was. I was like, dude, you're a cinematographer. You should have kept an eye on this.
Which scene?
He had a lot of other things on his mind at that point.
I guess.
Which scene are you talking about?
I don't know. He's talking. He's looking. It's a profile shot. He's looking one way. It might have been Omar. He's looking one way. Somebody else is standing in a doorway,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
looking straight on, and it didn't.
He looked higher than Omar.
Yeah, it didn't look right.
Yeah.
Supposed
They
to
cut to
make
the
you
other
feel
person's
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Is what film
Oh
school
no,
would have
no,
forced
that's
me
not
into.
what it is. It was
That's-
sloppy filmmaking, is what it was.
It's a message.
It was
Curtains
slip
are
pad.
curtains are blue
It's
for a
supposed to look
reason.
like
It was a metaphor for what the point in the film that he started becoming
Metaphor.
disappointed.
I will say there was one great shot in the movie towards the end when Bishop appears in the shadows when he's under the dock after he throws
Yeah.
it down the water.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great shot.
Yeah. It's funny, when that scene happened, I knew exactly where they were going because I got a ticket right next to that diner once.
Oh, is that right?
There's an exit from the West Side Highway that comes out right behind that diner, right kind of where Tupac's standing.
Yeah.
And there's a yield there, but also now a red light. And I turned on red because you can in New Jersey. And at the time, it was one of the first times I've driven in New York City. Didn't know you couldn't turn on red in New York, so I got a ticket.
Hmm.
So.
Oh, it was funny when Tristan pointed it out to me. Like I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, I recognize that spot. I've been by there. Like,
Yeah, the diner's still there. Still,
Yeah,
still
it
back
is.
in.
Well, like now it's still there.
Well, I got the ticket 10 years ago, so at least 20 years after the movie, it was there.
Yeah.
I haven't been back I drove past it like in 2016, so it was there even 5 years ago.
Yeah. Because honestly, I don't remember like the diner being there still, but like I know that spot because I've been by it
There's a
at
McDonald's.
least a couple times.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, more than a couple if I recognize it, I guess.
Yeah.
You know who we didn't talk about really is Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
He's playing a sage character in this one too, because at one point when Bishop goes in there to say that Q's going crazy, you can see the expression on his face like, I'm not buying any of this. This isn't convincing at all. And then later when Q's like, you've known me since I was 2. You know I'm not a killer. He's like, I've known a lot of killers since they were young.
Yeah. The best part of that
That was a
scene.
good line.
He asked for help, and Samuel the help was like, let Bishop know to meet me here at this time, blah blah blah. So like Samuel L. Jackson puts his hand out in this position, like with his hand out like this, like as if it was you're like, okay, all right, I got you. High five. I'm sitting there like, no, he's not asking for that. And then like Q, like he goes for it, puts his hand, and then like Samuel Jackson's like, no. I'm like, yeah, you owe him some money. He's doing you a favor. You owe him money.
It was a good Samuel Jackson moment.
Yeah.
Felt like he did that on his own.
I feel like he's probably been in a situation like that when he was younger, but probably like nothing to deal with murder, but like there was probably old men back in his time that did like this, like, yeah, you need me to help you out? Come on.
I enjoyed it. I honestly, I mean, I don't know what I was expecting going into it, because literally when we were choosing this movie, you were like, hey, it's Tupac's acting debut. I'm like, sold.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh yeah, no.
That's all I needed. And he was good. They were all good.
He only had 2 more movies after this where he's alive, and then the other 2 come out after his death in '96. So
You sure it's only 2 more?
I think so. Poetic Justice and After Above the Rim.
Then Gridlock and Gang Related.
They supposedly came out after his death. I
Oh,
looked
really?
at the dates.
Hmm.
One came up October, and then one came out December.
Okay. Those are both really good movies, by the way. Gridlock
I
and
was-
Gang
I
Related.
remember being surprised because I was like, he died late in '96. How did these come out after it in '96?
He's still releasing albums 5 years after his death.
Yeah. So that was the big thing with him right now. He had just released what is his biggest album, Tupacalypse.
Hmm.
I listened to that going into this because honestly, I'd only heard Tupac tangentially. I'd heard him on the radio, but never really listened to an album. So it was kind of cathartic finally sitting down and listening to Tupac.
Are any of his songs on the soundtrack?
I don't think so. I wasn't really listening while we watched. I did
No,
listen.
I heard Cypress Hill, but I didn't hear Tupac.
Yeah, it's a good album. Here we go. Here's every artist that's in this: Eric B. and Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Too Short, Demetrius Shipp, Teddy Riley, Hank Shockley, and Keith Shockley. They were part of a group that did most of the producing on this. Salt and Peppa's in there. He's gaming on you. The Brand New Heavies. Cameo was in there. Word Up. I remember hearing
Yeah,
that.
I remember hearing that when he buys the gun.
Yep. Cypress Hill, Shoot 'em Up. Fab Five, which I believe is where one of them comes from. I think was Tupac from Fab Five, or maybe something I was reading. Fab Five was influential in someone involved with this. I don't remember. Naughty by Nature. I don't see any Tupac though. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by this film. I liked it quite a bit, and it's maybe because I'm fascinated yet again, like Dogfight, by a person that I'd never really seen anything, and they died young, so it's like getting a chance to finally look into their lives.
Yeah.
I think that's why I liked it a lot. And Omar Epps, it's his debut. I didn't really know that, so it was fun to see what he was doing right at the beginning of his career. And he's great. He's my favorite part, or favorite actor at least. I'd give this an A-.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think some of the flaws come from what Corey was saying about the cinematography. The tone I don't mind it switching, because that might happen really. So yeah. What about you guys?
I give it an A+.
All right. I mean, I'm going to split the difference. Just it's an A.
Oh boy.
Well, I'm going to be the dissenting voice on this one.
Always.
I have to go with a C, because for the first,
That's lower
half,
than I thought you were going to give it.
honestly, for the first half, I thought the performances were very uneven and shrill at times, especially with the people playing the parents.
I thought they were caricatures.
I figured Tupac gonna have some kind of like pre-actor jitters. So in the first half, he's not especially good, in my opinion. I think he gets better as the movie goes along. But overall, I thought the movie was a little rudderless for the first half. They could have tightened up that first half, maybe. And by the end, some of the cinematography choices were coming off unintentionally comical, like when he falls into the abyss and disappears. I laughed. I shouldn't have laughed. That wasn't the impact they were going for. And then the freeze frame at the end. Again, they're trying to do something that came off a little leaden. And they definitely, Dickerson in particular, took elements from other young black filmmakers and just made like a hodgepodge that came off derivative to me.
Fair enough.
That was my experience with the film.
I did like the incidental monologue that they, or epilogue that they threw in, because apparently with test audiences, they wanted to know what happened to Q afterwards. So that's why the music that plays over the end credits is sung by, a more mature DJ GQ.
Yeah, when I found that out, I didn't like it. I don't want to know what happens.
Yeah, it's fine if they landed on being ambiguous, because at that point, there's kind of,
that's why they didn't hit you
other
in
than
the head with
Skills'
it.
testimony, I don't know how he exonerates himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he in the juice now.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little more unnerving, not knowing his fate.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. See, that compromised the test audiences between the Yelp that they added and those are unnecessary.
Yeah. You can't listen to test audiences. They don't know what they want.
I feel like with test audiences, like you're pulling from a group of people that are a little too
They just want happiness at the end of their.
No, I mean,
Standard
like,
to is
no,
what they want.
there people are all like a little too
Calm
willing
down, back up, buddy.
participate in things. Like they enjoy the participation part of like being a test audience. So like, of course, they might inflate their perspective or like pay a little bit too much attention to certain things, thinking that they're going to have something important to say. So like already like you're in a test audience and you have this mindset that like I'm an important part of filmmaking, so I have
That's the
a
first mistake.
substantial amount of input, and that's like
That's a slippery
That's
slope.
The test audiences think they have to
that's like
choose.
logic error 1000 right there.
That's
And you
That's,
know that,
like my test audience sucks.
yeah.
and you know they keep people out that actually know what they're doing with film, so they might not get the metaphors or the technique or even just a plot because they're
Having
not,
the audience participate in the
They're
writing
going-
process of the film is always a mistake. That
Yeah.
happened with another Samuel L. Jackson movie that we all know about, Snakes on a Plane, which they suggested lines and scenes for that movie, and we all saw how that turned out.
Well, that was like the first movie that like was born out of a meme.
Mhm.
Like
mistake right there.
Audiences
Yeah.
are not the best writers.
that's
Yeah.
a whole
And like
other.
it doesn't help that like they really aim for like as average as you can get, like because like the logic is like you want to appeal to the average American audience.
This is where we're
So,
getting
like,
the
they're gonna-
Marvel machine from.
Yeah.
Everybody's like hyped up and on the internet telling Marvel which way to go, and they're
Right.
just listening to that because there's no reason not to.
Right.
Well, when again, this then gets into a deeper discussion, at least in like works of fiction, where it's you have, not that this ever would have become a franchise, but like if you have a franchise thing that has a huge fan base, you at some point you need to give it as much fan service as possible because they're the ones who are paying to see the movie. You don't necessarily need to take too many creative liberties with things.
There's a fine line, I'll say.
I know, exactly. That's the thing. Fine line, slippery slope. It's all.
I mean, you could just do what Disney did with Star Wars, just kill the source material.
yeah,
It's
by
like that's
buying
not
it.
canon anymore.
Choke the plot with cash.
Yeah.
Let's veer this trolley back on the track, shall we?
So Christian Slater had his House of Cards moment where he got to direct address the audience in a movie called Cuffs, which is basically an action comedy where he his brother has a security firm. He dies. He takes over the family business and tries to find out who killed his brother. And throughout the movie, he's doing meta commentary to the audience. I said that this movie had an identity crisis. That movie really has one. They'll put in cartoon sound effects during certain comedic scenes, and then they'll have people shot in cold-blooded murder. It's very scaling.
This is the hellscape that is January films. That's why I
Right,
was
yeah.
Juice, and I think that's why I like Juice because it's about a bit better than a January film.
Sure. There's a genuinely unnerving movie which I haven't seen in years, but Hand and Rock the Cradle came out this month, and it's
I
actually
like-
from the subgenre that I don't usually care for, which is the stalker subgenre. But with Curtis Hanson directing it, he gives it a little more flair and suspenseful tension than you would normally get from something of this nature. And plus, the cast is really good. You got Rebecca De Mornay, who's this babysitter who kind of inserts herself into this couple's life. It starts to wreak havoc and might try to end up kidnapping the baby. I don't really remember all the plot because it's been years, but I remember enjoying it.
I thought she does kidnap it towards the end.
Right.
Or she's in the process of trying to kidnap it and they kind of
Yeah.
stop her. That's what I sort of remember happening.
Yeah.
I think they think she's gotten the baby, but she's just in another room.
I do remember that. I remember a really unnerving scene where she's trying to breastfeed the child.
That might be what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they find her in another room that's not the nursery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But good movie. Free Jack, which if I explain the premise, it sounds good, but the execution is not. It's about these bone jackers who, when somebody billionaire gets sick, they they have someone time travel from the past so that they can be swapped into their body, into a healthy person's body. And it actually has it's Emilio Estevez, Anthony Hopkins, and the guy chasing Emilio Estevez, Mick Jagger. Exactly. And he's as atrocious as you might think.
He's never been a good actor.
No.
Not all musicians can do well in film.
And the premise is as preposterous as you might think, and they don't even try to make it sound plausible. A movie that sounds like it's probably an unofficial sequel to Action Jackson, Hurricane Smith, came out this month with Carl Weathers. It sounds like it should be fun, but it's missing that Joel Silver like disreputable factor. It actually plays like a blue collar drama for most of it, with occasional action scenes. So that's a big disappointment.
Yeah.
And then probably the stupidest movie of the month, Shining Through, came out.
Oh, we almost picked this.
Yeah. It has Michael Douglas as this is set during World War II, and he has to get across enemy lines, so he puts a bandage around his neck. So he has to use cards in order to speak, and in order to get across the border, he uses Melanie Griffith's character as a pawn, and she tries to cajole the German troops by making German strudel. It's insanely stupid. I highly recommend everybody pass on that one.
Yeah, that's too
I thought you
bad.
were going to say it's insanely stupid. I highly recommend it.
Sometimes I
Which is
would.
kind of like something that I would say.
I kind of want to see cuffs.
Occasionally I would. But then that takes us to Jeff's moment to shine.
Oh boy.
You're gonna shine through, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I put my life on the line for you by watching this, by the way.
Well, I'm glad you're still here.
Yeah.
Here we
Bear
go.
witness to whatever the hell is about to happen. I need a theme song. I demand a theme
We should
song.
do that.
Now, before we go,
The way you did this is weird.
now that's what I was about to explain. Just bear with me for a second. So, Photoshop wasn't working when I tried to. And it does not use the blur feature in any way that makes sense. So this is just gauze kind of covering it. I just want to show you this, and we're going to go through it and just don't appreciate that it's not as perfect as it could have been. So,
All right.
so I just thought this was cool, but this is how I'm going to start.
Oh man.
Okay.
All
All right.
Handcuffs.
All
Let
right.
me ask you this.
So-
Can you tell who that is?
I can.
No.
Okay.
What is
So this is, well, first of all, color scheme. Shut up, Jimmy. Color scheme. This is my turn. Color scheme's got a lot of like blues and purples and oranges.
We'll get into that.
Beyond the blur. But the movie, the guy that's standing there with his arms crossed, with handcuffs dangling from his belt, is none other than Anthony Michael Hall.
Okay, good.
Um,
I don't know what he looks like.
well, the only reason I know that,
You know what he looks like?
the only reason I know what he looks like is because people kept telling me that I look like him when he was younger. So I'm like, oh, it's that guy.
Okay.
So
Well, that's
I
good.
was
So let's
Ralphie as
move
a
on.
kid,
I'm
and I'm
gonna-
Anthony Michael Hall in high school.
You're gonna have to recreate this poster then.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, we'll get to that.
Do that next time. All right, but he's got, okay, so
Here, I'll unblur the rest of this poster, not all of it. It's gonna, you'll see.
well, I was gonna say he's an undercover cop.
Okay.
So now he's leaning on a
looks like
police
10.
car. He's leaning on a police car. He's totally like, he's got a leather jacket and a necktie showing through and Adidas on. and I can't tell if those are parachute pants, but it would not surprise me. They just look like really big.
They look
Like
like
he's in,
high-waisted jeans.
like he's in someone's cop uniform that he's not supposed to be in. I feel like this is like a risky business type thing, or some idiot found like, his uncle's a cop, but instead of stealing the gun, he steals the like parts of the uniform and the car. Joyriding.
Is this a better movie?
But also, this is
I mean,
they are very clearly
anything
okay.
better
So
than
the
what
cop
actually-
car. Hang on, real quick. The cop car that he's leaning on is on a beach, facing away from the water. So it's like the car was coming out of the ocean.
Did not notice that.
But there's
Aqua
palm
cop.
trees and things, and he's very clearly on like some sort of either luxurious or deserted island. And I think he's in like, I don't know, he's probably at Ventura Beach, honestly, or some sort of California spot. But anyway, this a plot is forming.
Yeah, I like it.
It's
The
It's
one
not
word is
fun.
going to give a lot away.
Without knowing anything else, obviously, what would you call it?
beach beach cop.
Beach Fuzz?
No, beach cop.
Buzz?
No, hang on. All right. Well, how's this working? Am I just guessing until you get annoyed with me?
No. I just
guessing?
want one try. You're going to get another chance to do the title because I'm going to give you the subtitle, the phrase, the catchphrase, the tagline. That's the word.
This cop's got a brand new partner and a lot of explaining to do. Does he team
That's
up
where
with
his-
Desi Arnaz? Okay.
But you
right.
can clearly see there's a little bit of blur to his right on our left.
Yes.
So
yes.
there's a new
So
kind of
there's-
partner. What
there's
kind of
something.
partner do you think that is?
I'm thinking, okay, so yeah, the blurred out thing next to his leg, I'm thinking is probably a dog of
Or
some
a
sort,
cartoon character.
or a cartoon character, or Danny DeVito. Probably no, he's probably just a little kid, just a younger kid, it's just brother cops. This
Is
is
that another title you
this
go
is the
with?
boy version of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a little,
That's pretty much all I got for
probably a
this.
little kid. Yeah.
Reveal the partner.
Or
Do you have any other guesses about who the partner would be, or
Who, like actor wise or
just
character
what it is?
wise?
Just what it is.
Penguin
Okay, I like that.
Hey,
That
why would the
or a
penguin
little-
be in the tropics?
or a little robot.
ooh, I like
Oh
that.
God, I hope it's not. No, not a robot.
Prepare yourself for this.
Okay.
Oh,
What the is that, like a stolen puppet from Dark Crystal?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
thank you.
The hell?
It looks like a wood nymph. Did he like accidentally tread on Indian burial ground and like is haunted by the spirit of someone,
the hell?
and they have to like team up as a buddy cop duo?
It's
God damn it.
Because
Yeah.
that would be phenomenal, but I don't think that's
At
what this
point,
is.
Why don't you start pitching these ideas to Hollywood?
Or did
what
he
was
just-
that Will
yeah.
Smith?
We
movie?
just got to get more advertising on this thing.
What was that Will Smith movie where he's a cop with the?
Pinocchio. Oh no,
Right.
but this one, okay, it looks like
You kind
a
of creepy.
sequel. A sequel to the Jonathan Taylor Thomas Pinocchio,
Yes, that's its
Oh,
face.
wow.
but instead he steals like some
Well, it had to be a
Native American carving from a smoke shop,
Uh huh.
and it comes to life, and they're
cigar store
partners.
Indian cop.
It looks like they were gonna hybridize a dog with the chupacabra.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is
Or
that?
it's like a wooden Atreyu.
What would you call this then? I'll give you one more chance because I can guarantee you're not going to get it.
Yeah, what does that creature fit?
Partners in Time. I don't.
I can't wait to tell you who directed it.
End of Watch. No.
Yeah, let's have him guess after we show the title. Here you go, Jeff.
Okay. A gnome named Norm with a G.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah, no, what?
He's
get
a little
back on the
gnome.
first half of that.
So, who do you think would have directed this? You'll never get it.
Dom DeLuise.
It was Don Bluth. Did it.
Yeah, right.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. It's The Adventures of a Gnome Named Norm. Okay.
This was the best image I could find of the poster.
Yeah.
I have no idea who would have directed this. Wait, is this like a Zemeckis project?
I could give you a hint.
No, it's no one that's ever directed it. Well, no, he directed.
Well,
one
he
of them.
has directed. He
know.
actually directed a pretty well-regarded horror movie,
Yeah. Yeah. What's that movie called?
Eli Roth. No.
Pumpkinhead.
Oh, never mind. Okay, I'm
Oh.
thinking of something from like 2001.
Oh no, he directed before this.
Yeah.
I could give you a hint. What's on your shirt?
Oh wait, Jurassic Park.
There you
It's
go.
not. It's not actually Jurassic Park, but
Right.
okay. So involved in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a hand in crafting
So not
memorable things in the movie.
Stan Winston.
Yes.
Hey.
Really?
Yeah.
Stan Winston directed this?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Oh, he didn't direct Darkness Falls. He just worked on the effects. It was one of his
Oh,
last
okay.
movies. That's what I was thinking of. I thought he.
Yeah. Before this, he had directed Pumpkinhead.
Yeah. That's
Really?
funny.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this just shows he gave the stamp of approval to that gnome. Okay, that's an effect that he approved of.
Mhm.
Is this like?
Does it
Is it-
actually
is the
does it
gnome-
look better in the movie and the poster's just doing it a crap
No.
job?
He's
Is the
had
gnome-
stiff and inexpressive. I wish we could show a clip of this.
Is the
It looks
gnome
like
stop
that.
motion?
I should have had a picture of it.
Is the gnome animated using stop
He's
motion or
animatronic.
puppet? Okay.
the
Animatronic.
puppet animatronic.
Yeah, it's a little Howard the Duck.
But you know what's funny that you said that it reminds you of Dark Crystal, because I kept thinking this is like if they took Dark Crystal and put him in Beverly Hills Cop.
That's
Yeah.
good.
That's exactly the vibe that I got. So
Yeah.
Okay. So they did their job.
yeah.
I guess.
I mean the poster definitely gets the point across, but the question that comes to mind is why the premise?
Why?
Why?
Yeah, who knows
Well,
what
I don't know who exactly the movie's aimed for, because obviously all the cop stuff, there's shootouts. So that's aimed towards an adult audience. And there's parts where Norm is referring to the female partner's bobos and making other lewd comments. So
See Howard the Duck.
I'm not quite sure who this was for.
Middle
the Duck was better
schoolers.
than this. At least Howard Duck was fun.
Hmm.
There's a part where they try to strip search Norm after they arrest him. Okay.
Okay. I think we're good on this then.
It's bad.
Speaking of cult classics, one of the biggest actors in the world was in Juice. And I think it's already time to discuss him in picking our picks of the month. What are your favorite Samuel L. Jackson films?
You guys already trashed my real favorite, so
Which one?
next on a plane.
Oh, get out of here.
You can go with it.
Get out of here.
It'll still be your favorite.
Is it
Doesn't mean
actually?
we're not going to trash it.
Oh no, I'll pick a real movie.
It's a real movie.
It's
It actually happened.
It happened. It was
It
it was
made
shot
money.
on celluloid and released in theaters.
Either, I got two.
Hmm.
I got Jackie Brown
Good one.
or Kiss of Death. I really like.
Kiss of Death.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't even know that
Let's
one.
see.
Because I figure somebody else is going to pick Pulp Fiction. So
Nah.
Oh, no.
No.
That's too easy.
Aye.
But, like, it's up there. No, it should be like.
I know what Tristan's is obvious.
What?
I already brought it up. He's in Jurassic Park.
Is it my favorite Samuel L. Jackson film though?
Oh, well, if we're going with that, then I got to change Kiss of Death to Changing Lanes.
Changing Lanes, yeah.
Changing Lanes, yeah.
You want to go with that over Jackie Brown?
Yeah, I think he's got a better performance than Changing
Oh
Lanes.
shit, he was in Jumper. Forgot about
Oh, God.
I love that movie.
No,
For all
you
the wrong
don't.
reasons.
Oh, there's so many good ones.
I know it's hard to narrow down here.
How are you not going with Sphere, Jimmy?
Oh, we're gonna.
I already said the Deep Blue Sea, another
Oh, that's
sea
good.
movie.
They ate
Long-
me.
Long Kiss Goodnight.
Shark ate me.
That's what I thought you were going to go with. Long Kiss Goodnight.
That's good too.
I am struggling to decide. I was about to go with 1408.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
no, that's great.
I like him in Rules of Engagement, but it's a little dry. I
Mm.
think he gives one of his better dramatic performances.
Ooh,
But my favorite got to be Unbreakable.
okay, I'm changing my vote. I'm going with The Negotiator, and that's final.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Okay.
He's good in so many things.
I know.
We
I'm
can have two each.
Hateful Eight.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
No,
Wait,
we'll-
what did Jimmy pick? Sphere.
no.
no. Tristan joked that would have been my movie, but then I
Oh, he
jokingly
said Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, I jokingly said Deep Blue Sea, but like
That's a
honestly,
good one.
I actually had to look at the list because like he does have a lot of movies to pick from.
Yeah. I mean, and also I got to think about movies that he was highlighted because he's in Goodfellas, but he's only in it for like 2 scenes.
I've seen yet.
But yeah. So that doesn't really count.
Yeah, like Jurassic Park, maybe my favorite movie, but it's not because of Samuel L. Jackson.
Sure.
Performance is fun, but he's probably the 6th best performance in that,
Right.
to be honest, and only because of the size of his role.
That's an
Well,
Also, I didn't realize he was in the original film version of Ragtime.
Mm-hmm.
So for
Yeah.
my real picks for Samuel L. Jackson, I'm gonna go with one animated feature and live action feature. Animated feature, The Incredibles.
Nice.
Live action feature, SWAT.
Great.
SWAT's fun. SWAT's
Yeah,
really good.
no. Like again,
Seven
like I
Seconds
remember
of
when I
Rage.
saw that movie in theaters, I was like, it's okay. But then like after again, rewatch over the years, like I actually really surprisingly like it more than I expected
It
that I
is.
would have when I initially saw it.
So
I like that picture.
we got Incredibles and SWAT. We got Snakes on a Plane and
Hateful Eight.
then Corey, what were yours?
The Negotiator. Probably Changing Lanes.
Okay. And I'll go with Unbreakable and 1408.
Just goes to show the guy's got a huge filmography.
Oh yeah, no,
Great
like
pictures.
there's a lot.
I mean, there's so much to choose from.
Spent 10 minutes just
Like,
going through the list.
any role he's in, it's memorable.
Yeah.
Just simply because it's Samuel L. Jackson. Like he transcends all roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Could have even gone with Kingsman. You know.
Oh, I didn't even forgot about
Hey.
King.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
You won an Edgar for it too.
All right.
Well, that pretty much wraps us up on Juice for January 92. And we'll be back next month with probably a movie that people wouldn't exactly say is the best in any of these people's filmographies, but I have a little nostalgic soft spot for it because I saw it back then. And
good
I
too.
don't know if it holds up. So we're going to rewatch it or watch it in the first place. Memoirs of an Invisible Man. It is John Carpenter, not doing as scary as he usually does, and Chevy Chase, Sam Neill,
Oh, Dr. Alan Grant.
the horror. He does it.
Daryl Hannah.
So we'll be back with you next month. Hope you enjoy Juice. Remember to rate, review, subscribe to YouTube and Spotify and iTunes. And we appreciate you for sticking around with us through the first 2 seasons and look forward to hearing what you think of our third.
Yeah, no, hold up. Shit, damn.